things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners Podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Want to be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some sats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to Canadian Bitcoiners Podcast on this beautiful long weekend Monday. My name is Joey. That's Len. Buddy, what's going on? How's the job hunt? CNE applicant number 54,561. Did you get any interviews? Are you looking to run the Apple, like bobbing for apples or skee ball? What are you applying for? What is your
ticket collector?
What is your work experience?
Oh, well, I've been there numerous times, so I'm hoping that alone should give me a leg up on somebody else who hasn't probably been there because they haven't been around long enough to have been there. This is only an annual event. Yeah, so I don't have an interview. Just submitted my application, and fingers crossed. Let's see if I get called.
I wish you the best of luck. Some of those lines look absolutely nuts. 100,000 people deep. Although I think next month we'll get a downward revision to only about 40,000 people, if I had to guess. So
depends who's in charge.
Yeah,
the lady's still there.
We'll be talking about Erica Meckentarfer.
That's a tough last name to say.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll be talking about that tonight, along with a bunch of other stuff. We hope you're enjoying your long weekend. I just finished barbecuing, went swimming today. I'm enjoying a Muskoka Brewery Tread Lightly tonight during the podcast. Hope you guys are also wielding your drink of choice, whether it's water, milk, or a light beer.
We're talking about craft beer this show, so stay tuned.
I can't wait. The sponsors, as always, first and foremost, Easy DNS, the friendly neighborhood registrar you didn't know you needed, but you will know you need them soon, because as you see in the UK, the crackdown is coming, and where better to be than a registrar that will take care of your privacy, your information, and not bend the knee. Mark over at Easy DNS, obviously a friend of the show, friend of ours personally. And what's not to like, Len? You go over there, get some easy mail, get some domain, sure, a couple extra bucks, extra security. We talk a lot on Axis of Easy, that podcast we do every Thursday night for Mark, about all of the different ways people are gunning for your data. And not once, Len, have we ever talked about an Easy DNS slip up. And it's not just because Easy DNS runs the show, but because they are the best service in the game, best in silos, like to say. Don't forget, if you're a Bitcoiner, virtual private server options to make you happy, Bitcoin nodes, Nostr relays, all that good stuff. And of course, Bitcoin on the balance sheet, that's trendy these days, but Mark was doing it long before it was cool. Pay with Bitcoin if you like. If you want to pay fiat, do that too. Money back guarantee. Not that you'll need it. The code is CBP Media, and you get 50% off your first round of buys when you head over to Mark. So go over, buy a couple domains, man. Make like Sailor and buy some domains.
Make a big order because you're going to maximize your savings with a 50% off your initial buy. Might as well make it a big one, right? Load up the cart. All right, we got Bull Bitcoin, second sponsor of the show. A lot of people are buying Bitcoin these days because it went selling as well, because we noticed the price went down and price went up. So if you're going to do that, might as well use Bull Bitcoin to facilitate those buys and those sales, on-chain, Lightning, whatever you want. Just check the mempool out there, and it's still very, very uncongested, so to speak. So Lightning might be a good alternative, but right now still on-chain is the choice for me, at least. I don't know, maybe for you too as well. Either way, a lot of different things you could do. You can start paying your bills with your Bitcoin, because look, Bitcoin's sitting, as per my block clock, 115K. I suspect a lot of people have been buying Bitcoin long before we reached this price. So you've made some massive gains. Might as well start spending it. One way you could do that is use the bill service through Bull Bitcoin and start paying off your bills. You could send Bitcoin over to other people through e-transfers like that. So it's really cool what you could do with Bull Bitcoin. But if you haven't opened an account, look, if you're in Europe, well, most Western Europe, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, gosh, are they opening up in other places too? I hear rumors.
Only a matter of time.
So another Central American country, I was the rumor. Either way, if you haven't yet opened an account, use our referral code below. If you do that, a little bit will be taken off every time you make a purchase. That way, the buys will be stinging a little bit less, because it's going to be costing you a little bit less in the end. Might as well use Bull Bitcoin. Non-custodial, best in the game.
Totally agree, man. You want to do some housekeeping first? I guess we should. Last week we had, oh my God, who did we have on the show?
Boomer.
Boomer was the co-host. I really appreciate him helping out. He will be back again this coming Monday because I'm away at the cottage. So Boomer, thank you once again. Not that he needs to be thanked. Boomer actually has direct access to the CBP boys because we lean on him so much, and he's been such a big help to the team over the years. Last week I talked to Heather Exner-Piro about energy and specifically the sort of lack of foresight that we seem to have had over the last, 10, 12 years-ish, related to our natural resources, not just oil, though that was obviously a hot topic because it's a hot topic. Anytime you talk about energy in Canada, that comes up. But we also discussed, Len, something I think is really interesting. These are my words, not hers, the censorship regime around what it means to be able to talk about oil and the benefits of oil. The burden of proof in some cases, where it lies for somebody who wants to report, for example, on net zero initiatives and, the sort of greenwashing that goes on. And one thing, I want to mention here in housekeeping, because I think it's relevant, and I know that not everyone listens to the guest spots if they don't listen to Monday night. Did you know that, you know this because we talked about it, the CPPIB stopped reporting on green energy and net zero. Some banks also stopped reporting on it, and a number of other Canadian, we'll call them investment planners, just for the sake of making it easy for people to understand, stopped reporting on green energy and net zero. And we thought, I think correctly, it may not be the exact reason, but we correctly thought that the reason that they were doing this is because it had just fallen out of favor. Investors were tired of underperforming in the name of, saving Gaia or whatever trendy thing Greta Thunberg and her ilk were coming up with and making public. But in fact, Len, the big reason they stopped reporting on these things and using them as investment, let's call them themes, is because without using what the government of Canada calls modern and commonly understood metrics for data reporting and data gathering and all these things for that data in that silo, you open yourself up to litigation. Up to 5%, I think, of global revenues could be fined by the federal government if you use information that, even if accurate, is misleading. And of course, this is too much for oil companies for sure, but also the CPPIB. The best part, Len, is that even if you use what is the name of that Parliamentary Budget Office data, it's actually still no good because the PBO doesn't use quote unquote modern and widely accepted methods for this data. Now, this data is obviously novel. It's very difficult to have an accepted universal global sort of ISO type standard for this stuff. So you just can't talk about it. And on the other side of things, to talk about how great green energy is, renewables are, no such requirement. And, the burden as well for people who make that conversation point about how renewables might not be the, panacea that everyone thinks they are. You open yourself up not only to suit from government, but also from individuals. And the burden of proof, unlike in most legal proceedings, is actually on you, the alleged spreader of misinformation, to claim or to explain how you were not misleading the public. And of course, without widely accepted data collection and data analysis standards, it's impossible to do. It is infinitely defensible, as I said on the show with Heather, for the accuser. And this is the world we ended up with in Canada thanks to this. So I recommend that quite a bit. Boomer's asking if she's been on anything else. She recently did Money Talks and also did Loonie Hour. And I'm sure she's other places too. I've listened to a few of her interviews. She's extremely bright. And I want to just thank her again for making time because she's in the middle of a move across the world, basically. So it was nice to get an hour with her and chop it up on energy. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. This week, Ahmad Amoos, Saifuddin's brother's coming on. And I messaged him a little while ago because I'm getting older and all of you are getting older. I see the gray in the side of my hair more and more every week. And I said, you know what? It'd be nice to talk to a medical professional about the habits that us 80s, 90s, even 70s babies should be getting into and following and really embracing to make the most out of our inevitable graying. And it's coming for all of us. But as Bitcoiners, we want to have long time horizons, and we want to get this health thing lined up. And who better than Dr. Amoose to give us the rundown. We're going to talk a bit about fitness and maybe some TRT stuff, which has been, sort of top of mind for me for a long time, for a number of different reasons, but we'll get into all that. And I'm looking forward to that interview quite a bit. I have some other announcements to make. I don't think I can make them yet, but we'll
just go with it, Joey, man. This is it. Just run with it.
I don't think I can say yet.
I'll be back in a bit, by the way.
No, that's it. We're dead. We're done with the housekeeping. Go ahead. We're
good. We're not. We stop. Rip through them fast because clearly we got to go through the Bitcoin stuff. The bird, the 100 sats, salute. So thank you for that. Piaz, 210 sats. He says, excellent show, gentlemen. Says Boomer stepped in and slayed. Well done. Another salute. And
shout out to Boomer.
Yeah. God's Deeth, 237 sats. He says, thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Mo BTC Dick, 500 sats. He says, ShakePay rolled out a BTC only version of the app now. Nice not to see ETH on the page. I think with that, you have to go on the app and you have to select Bitcoin only, or you have to do some sort of interaction.
Yep.
And so with that, then you won't see anything else besides Bitcoin. Doesn't change anything. At the back end, they still offer ETH and as well as USDC,
USD, CAD, ETH.
Yeah,
everything.
One of those things.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Business Cat 5555 sats.
Business.
And he says, powerful Boomer. And So thank you very much, Business Cat.
Great stuff. Lots to talk about tonight, buddy. Where do you want to start? We got a bang and rip for
let's just
this evening.
do right away a story that I think you'll love to talk about, and it's the El Salvador change. I know it's what's going on over there.
Let me look in our licensed media here for something I can take a victory lap to. Maybe this.
As long as it's licensed. So they made a recent change to the presidential limits in El Salvador for presidents. They used to limit how many times you could run, and that limit is now gone. So this constitutional reform was pushed overnight over the past week to allow for this change. It looks like they were trying to rush it through if they're doing it overnight. And this could potentially enable Bukele to stay into power long term. And this guy is the self-described, quote unquote, world's coolest dictator. It's funny that he's saying that. Maybe this is something that could potentially become a reality. That's more tongue in cheek. I don't know. Another thing that they changed, well, two more things. Number one, the term limits, or the term in terms of how many years, it's used to be 5 years. Now it's 6 years. So they increased it by 1. All right, that's fine. And the second one, they said they eliminated the second round of elections where the two top vote getters from the first round would do a face-off. So that's no longer the case. So it's now just one and done from what I could read over there. And I have never been to El Salvador.
Me neither.
I don't think I'll ever go to El Salvador. And from what I gather, though, things are safer now, significantly safer now than they were way back when. But even with this change here, potentially this could be a step in the wrong direction. I'm guaranteeing it will, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But for a moment, we just have to pay some respect to those people that paid in Bitcoin not too long ago to either get property and or residency in El Salvador. I think a lot of people were sold a particular future, and it looks like it's never going to pan out. Now you have this change that's happening with the president in terms of how many terms he could run. There's potential for abuse. I'm not saying that it's going to happen.
I know you're not.
Well, because I can't guarantee that it's going to happen. But looking at this, it's a step in the wrong direction. One way of looking at it. But another way is, if somebody's good, I'm not saying he's good or bad. If somebody's good, why limit them to 2 terms?
This is
unlimited terms.
Obviously, a step in the wrong direction. Obviously, right. And we continue on this program. We continue to not be fooled by the veneer of Bukele's PR history. I will say that we've had El Salvador friendly people on the show. Jaime, obviously, a big El Salvador guy, a Salvadorian himself, and we've had others as well over the years who are not quite adjacent to that government, but certainly share the view that many Bitcoiners do or did or still might, that that's the place to go if you're a Bitcoiner. It's a Bitcoin country. There's going to be Bitcoin city and volcano bonds and all this stuff, none of which materialized, by the way, none of them. You'll remember that Samson Mao, who now has a place on MSTR earnings calls. Something there probably.
Wait.
Mao
So
and Adam Back pumping the volcano bonds.
Wait. Go back. Samson Mao is on the earnings call.
We can get into that if you want. Because
I'm curious.
I got problems with that too. We'll go to it after. That's an ad hoc Bitcoin story. But I don't think this is a good idea. I think it's clear that Bukele is overstepping his bounds. The thing I think is most telling here is the IMF forced him out of the Bitcoin game, but doesn't care if he becomes the president forever. And if you think, okay, that this is not a bad sign, I mean, you can cope as much as you want. I know a lot of you guys have real estate there and houses there, and you uprooted your life here in Canada and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I feel for you. Okay. I'm pouring one out for you at this point. Because you got. And I think a lot of us told you this was a bad idea 4 years ago. You didn't listen. It's better than Canada. It's a country on the come up. It's this, it's that, in time, Len, maybe I'll speak for myself here. Maybe I will be proven wrong, but I think for now, there's no doubt that I fucking nailed this. And I think you nailed it too. Maybe not as explicitly, but I think we both had our doubts about this.
I've been neutral on this. I haven't been very negative.
Well, let's just go through a quick checklist here, right? Like volcano bonds was a big story. How'd that go?
Still
flop.
pending. We don't.
I'll tell you. Flop. How did Bitcoin City go? Big rendering, wood model that he made. How'd that go? Flop. Bitcoin Beach, El Zante. Oh, it's gonna be the first ever Bitcoin place. People are gonna love Bitcoin. How'd that go? Flop. Chivo wallet. Oh, everyone's gonna get Bitcoin airdrop to them. They'll see the benefits of Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer currency. How'd that go? Flop. Fucking flop. This guy is a clown. That country is a joke. And now, not only do you have real estate there, but you're captured by the IMF. That's a GGTTYL moment for these people. You got. And you may not.
For the people that bought in.
Yeah, you may not want to admit it. You may not want to talk about it. You may tell me I'm wrong, but just look at the scorecard, man. Look at the scoreboard. Okay.
Again, yeah, for the people that bought in, absolutely. It's the people that live there, and I have no skin in this game, nor do I have any relatives.
IMF, no Bitcoin allowed, but you are allowed to be the president forever and basically lock up anybody you say is dangerous. Okay.
In terms of,
okay, sure.
I'll give the benefit of the doubt here. In terms of the improvement of the overall safety of the country, it's been trending in the right direction.
Sure.
So, as I say,
I agree with that.
I have no skin in this game, so I can't say what's going on. I don't have relatives telling me with boots on the ground what's going on. Everything I'm getting is kind of second, third hand, where the fuck it is, from some other sources. And in those cases, it sounds like life is getting better. I'm not saying it's going to continually get better, but things have improved to where we are now, to where we were, say, 5, 10, 15 years ago.
This is the dog training thesis. I went over this. They had nowhere to go but up. And
they could have still gone down. I would point to Venezuela, for instance.
To Haiti. Like, there's only so many countries below El Salvador,
Right. But they could have gone to the Venezuela route.
Sure.
Right. Venezuela is an example of having an amount of they're soaking in oil, and that's just hyperbole, but they have a lot of reserve, and they just used it poorly. Plus it was poor management. They kicked out people of skill. They put in their cronies in power, and as a result they weren't able to extract the resources. They weren't able to refine those resources, and the money was directed to areas just to pump up the government. And gasoline was cheap because it was subsidized. People were happy because of that, but it was unsustainable. So education became free, but again, that was unsustainable. I talked to somebody that's from Venezuela, and that she hates fucking what's his name?
Maduro.
Yeah,
Maduro.
Yeah, Nicolas Maduro. So they could have gotten that direction. So I'm not saying that they had anywhere else to go. They could have still gone down. There's still ways for that. It just, things have improved. I think we could basically close the door on this. Like, this is
100% that this door is closed. It's been, for me, it's been closed for
Was
like
it ever
a year and a
open
half.
for you?
No,
Right.
no.
So,
As soon as Jaime told us this guy had a history in PR, and then I started to put together like, okay, Mallers is the guy who made this huge deal about all this, and then this guy comes over, and like the whole thing is just like Pablo was saying, it's a LARP. It's a LARP. The whole thing's a LARP. He needed some international support. He got it.
And this whole PR spin, the guy that's in charge down south is the exact same thing.
100%. He's a PR man. 100%.
Right. Yeah. So, he's a. I don't want to say something that'll get into trouble, but clearly the guy is not what we thought he would be.
Yes.
And more so now than before.
Yeah.
I don't know what has happened, but again, like,
we'll talk about Trump probably sometime during the show.
For sure. We'll talk about it in today's show. It's a story that
let's keep going. El Salvador, RIP. God bless you. Good job. TYL GG.
Okay. Well, it's another interesting story that took place this past week was one that was floating on Reddit and X and probably other places as well. A guy by the name of Jimmy Ramirez went by the name of Bitcoin for Jimmy on Twitter. And he posted an interesting story. You heard about this one, right, Joey?
Of course. We talked about it. I think every group chat I'm in had something about this.
All right. Well, before we get into this story, we need some background on this dude. This guy, according to his post, claims to have been in Bitcoin since 2017. So he has a few years under his belt of being in Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin price rising and falling, the scams, rug pulls, everything that come along with the adjacent space. And Jimmy's problem is that he had some Bitcoin, and he looks like he had at one time quite a bit of Bitcoin, but he lost it all, and looks like now he has as much Bitcoin as brains, because he was a victim once of Celsius in 2022. He claims in a post to have lost 85% of his quote-unquote coins, and he lost 5 Bitcoin in that, and he also lost a bunch of trash like Cardano, Polkadot, ETH, and more. He was chasing yields at a time when chasing yields was very popular. Okay, that was cool. And he got wrecked, and gone were 5 Bitcoin and a bunch of shitcoins. Okay, fast forward to today. This guy, imagine, being in Bitcoin. If he was in 2017, he's got 8 years of experience, right? Like, he's a Bitcoin veteran. He's been hardened by getting smoked through Celsius, got the whole fiasco. We saw other people lose their shirts with exchanges, trusting them, right? All these numerous projects, risk-free and all this shit. But Jimmy, right? The fucking Jimmy, he downloads this application for his phone. I think it was on the App Store. I'm not exactly sure if it was Google or Apple. I think it was the App Store, but it doesn't really matter in this case. But it was a Sparrow wallet. Sparrow wallet. Sparrow wallet for your fucking phone. Anybody who's been around Bitcoin long enough understands that Sparrow is desktop only. It's only available for Windows. It's only available for Mac OS. It's only available for Linux. There's no there's no application for your phone. And so this guy, he downloaded it, and he downloaded it like a fucking boss, and and he put his fucking keys in there, and poof, gone. 7.4 Bitcoin lost. Jimmy, I feel bad for you, but every shun god in this system understands that there's no fucking Sparrow for
people are gonna have to look that up.
There is none, right? Like,
every
shun god. So it gets Windows, like, So you could, when you download Sparrow, on the website, it even talks about the verification. You should do this verification.
The website, the Telegram group, on Twitter, no matter
There's
where you look.
There's enough information, right? Like, and if people say it's too hard, don't fucking Jimmy me, okay? Just don't fucking Jimmy me. This thing is fucking easy to do. You could do it. I could do it. The instructions are there. Just fucking copy, right? Stuff like this. I love these things because these are a lesson for everybody, and it's a free lesson for you. For Jimmy, it was very expensive. But fuck him. It's for us. It's a wonderful lesson. This is an opportunity. You have to learn how to use Sparrow properly, how to install it, how to use it, how to verify the thing. Not just that, but other pieces of software. With Bitcoin, you can't fucking undo something. You can't go to your bank and say, please, I fucked up. Please make me whole. It's done. It's gone. It's finished. This guy's wrecked. Good luck. People out there, do not be a fucking Jimmy. Be a fucking Bitcoiner. Learn how to fucking do stuff. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, my man. I was thinking about the verification thing on Sparrow not long ago, and I'll be honest, I don't spend as much time verifying my installer as I should, at least not the way they tell me to.
You could drag and drop it into Sparrow as a verification.
There's a few other ways to do it too that I didn't think about until, kind of thinking about this Jimmy thing. Like there's so many different places where you see and hear about Sparrow. And what do you always see and hear about Sparrow when you go to like their Twitter feed, their Telegram group, the Bitcoin Discord, our Discord, like anywhere where there are Bitcoiners gathered and someone brings up Sparrow, the same comment always rises to the top, and it's almost immediate every time. Only download Sparrow from the Sparrow website. Make sure you verify the link. To me, it's something as simple as going to the Telegram chat, going to the Twitter page, and going to sparrowwallet.com and looking and seeing, okay, these links are all going to the same place. They're verified in all three different places, all three different spots, all three different networks, whatever you want to call those three landing zones. And this is the correct application. The worst part about this, though, for me, is that in his like plea to the Bitcoin community to try and get some donations, he's trying to blame Apple. He's going to sue Apple for letting a scam app into the App Store. Bro, this is not an Apple problem. This is a you problem. And friend of the show, Jordab, I think said it best. I think when I tweeted this out, just like, oh my God, he said, look, this guy's never been a Bitcoiner. He's been in Bitcoin for 10 years. He's never been a Bitcoiner. And I think that's 100% right. You cannot have like a sort of, you can't have no intuition, right? About, I know I see that comment too.
Yeah. Fuck you.
You can't have that. You can't have that sort of lack of intuition if you're going to be in Bitcoin, because what does Pierre Rochard and Bitstein, all these guys who have been around and around and around and around, what do they always say? Everybody is a scammer. Everyone wants your Bitcoin. Every app, every service, every lending platform, you name it, they all want your Bitcoin, and they're going to do whatever they can to get it. And I think it doesn't take much now to avoid the mistake he just made, but here we are. He's managed to lose 7 this time, 5 before. That is generational wealth. Truly, that is generational wealth, and it's gone. Idiot. Now here's the question: do you believe him?
I said that it's either one of two things. He's either the biggest idiot or the biggest scammer.
Yeah.
He's posted that address where you could donate your Bitcoin, and incredibly, so 1.7.
He's got a lot back.
1.7 million Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Sorry, sats. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1.7 million sats have been donated. Like, who the fuck is donating to this guy? Like,
look at the guys who donated to Peter Schiff. It's the same people. I have no idea, but some people have enough Bitcoin they're willing to part with it for an unconfirmed story from a guy who, by the way, has no history in any posts that I've ever seen. Like, I've not come across the guy before. There are people I don't follow on Bitcoin Twitter that I see often in replies or in groups or whatever, but I've never seen this guy before. Never. And like at this point, I don't know. Yeah, he's probably not.
No, if he's the biggest scammer, I got to give him credit because he's playing the long game. His posts when he got quote unquote wrecked from Celsius back in 2022 are still there. So it's not like he created these posts yesterday.
No, I know that. I know that.
So he's either a wonderful scammer, and he, like I said, he's playing the long game, or he's just an absolute fucking idiot, and he has no idea what to do with his Bitcoin. And clearly, he had some
combination of the two, maybe. I don't know. Mark is in the chat saying that he actually knows somebody on Apple's security team and sent them the link to that app. So that app is gone.
Yeah, it's not going to last much longer after this.
Yeah, but like I still don't blame Apple for this. It's what's funny too. Friend of the show, Praveen, obviously, who does Cove Wallet, I think had to jump through some hoops to get his app on the App Store, right? Because of the money transmission element. I'm surprised that the one thing I'm surprised about is if they were able to get a scam app through, what were the hurdles that they had to overcome? Obviously, nothing about actually transmitting the money or safety around, money holding or whatever the term is. I don't know. But it does raise an interesting question there. I still don't think it's Apple's fault, though.
Yeah, why would it be Apple's fault? They could provide whatever the fuck they
everyone's
want.
everyone's looking for someone to blame, right? This guy's no different.
No,
And
this guy's got to look
and
in
he's
the
looking for a
mirror.
few sats back too, which is
I don't know why anybody would want to donate to him unless you just truly have to.
He's just gonna give it to the next scam that comes across his timeline.
You know, I'm willing to bet this guy's gonna try it 100x or some sort of like incredible leverage to try to
lever up. Yeah.
If you lost 12 Bitcoin in the last 3 years,
yeah,
and you lost 7 at a time where it's 115K, what the fuck it is?
Yeah,
that, you know, it's a distinct, like, this is, if that's true.
If you are playing
incredibly,
yeah, it's got to hurt. The other thing too, Len, even if you thought it was a legit wallet, why are you
entering anything? I know
it doesn't make sense. Like you have all this Bitcoin, you held it for so long, and then you download an app and give the thing your seed phrase. Like it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't be moving that Bitcoin around. Why do you know?
He was going to probably put in the next Celsius type thing to get some
more. I think there's
leverage.
more to this. I think there's more to the story. We need Zach XBT to dig into this guy and see if there's more to this, because I really think there probably is.
Well, like I said, this is an excellent learning opportunity for people out there. And I hope everybody understands how to do it. And check the Sparrow website. You could even, if you want to go to the nth degree, you could even compile your Sparrow code. And so it's not been provided for you.
Do it yourself. Yeah.
And it's more challenging, but you know, if you want to really do that, that's fine. Considering what's at stake here, it's your wealth, you may want to consider doing that as well. Another thing is this is my humble opinion, I could be wrong. The best way to have Sparrow installed is on a dedicated Sparrow computer. They have a shitty laptop that is never connected.
It doesn't have to be shitty, by the way. It can just be an okay laptop.
It could be whatever,
laptop,
but get something that you don't give a shit about. A few $100, buy it, and then install an operating system that you like, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Never have it hooked up to the internet until it's time to sign a transaction. So then you hook it up to the internet, you do all the updates, because in between it connected to the internet, there's going to be some updates, reboot, restart, all that shit. Then do your transaction. And that way it's never connected unless you have to do the transaction. Your keys, you have generated them offline. You're always interacting everything air gap. This is the best way to do it. That's my opinion. Do whatever you guys want. But again, when you're talking about your wealth, when it cannot be undone, you don't want to fuck around. You want to make sure everything is done properly. And if you don't do it, you'll be another Jimmy. We'll be fucking laughing at you in the process. Don't
Jimmy yourself. Mark, if only there was a way for brands and domains to assert their IP across multiple channels. I don't know, Mark, if you know a way. Go to EasyDNS. Mark can always help you with that. Jimmy, RIP. What's next? What else we got?
The statue of Satoshi.
Is this a real story? Why do we care about this?
Well,
I see this. I see all caps in the Corn Lords chat, and he's online talking about someone stole the statue. Why do I care about the statue? Tell me why I should care about this.
It's vandalism. At the very least, that's what
this isn't the Canadian vandalism podcast. Who gives a shit about the statue?
It's a statue of supposed to be a rendering of Satoshi and somebody. So at the very least, it could be vandalism, or it could be just a simple no coiner. Now, for people that are unaware, what we're talking about, in Lugano, Switzerland, there was a statue that was set up for Satoshi. The statue it's just a mock-up. I guess it doesn't really look like an actual individual, but nonetheless, this past weekend on Saturday, it was noted it was stolen. It was found shortly thereafter, apparently nearby a lake, at the shores of a lake, and there was some damage to that. So, and whatever it may be, whoever took it, it's now found. Looks like they're going to put it back together, and but some local yahoos were either responsible for this, or they mentioned maybe some no coiners. I have no idea. Why the fuck would anybody want to do this? Like, these pricks, they're just out there for a good time. Like, they're just ruining shit. It's a symbol of what's going on with Canada, with other countries as well. It's people just, so like, at the very least, you could take away that from this story. And it's utter bullshit why somebody would go out there and destroy property for the sake of shits and giggles. Unfortunately, in this case, Satoshi statue is the one that took it.
If that Satoshi statue was erected in the Dundas driving park, it would never fall victim to any vandalism. No vandals around here. That's all I have to say. I don't care about this story. God willing, it'll be put back up, but whatever. If not, false idol. It's a golden calf, maybe to somebody,
Well, some people enjoy it, and Lugano has a thriving Bitcoin society, popular, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
They have a conference. They have a conference. So yeah.
So take that for like it's a good Bitcoin area.
Sure.
So it makes sense why it would be there, but I don't know. Either way, was Roger Ver, was he in the area?
Can he? I don't know.
Is he allowed out of the country?
Yeah. I thought he was stuck. He's under investigation or whatever. It's a warrant out for his arrest.
For what? Statute?
No, I thought it was for tax evasion.
Yeah, of course it was. I know it certainly was. It wasn't a Jeopardy of Springfield when they cut off the head. That was fucking bad, by the way. Bitcoin Independence Day came and went August 1st this past week, and Bitcoiners celebrated the 8th year of Independence Day, or the UASF Day, whatever works for you. You're right either way because they're both correct. And what this was, uncooperative miners back in 2017 were forced to realize that they don't run the network, the Bitcoin network. And this is where users, node runners, resisted the miners' will. And the significance of this we can't really understate this, because it shows that node runners out there, they are the ones that ultimately control the network. They have a great deal of power, more so than even these big, powerful Bitcoin miners that are colluding behind closed doors and trying to impose their will on us. And the outcome from this, it was going to be, originally they were trying to push for SegWit 2x. That was their idea. That was the idea behind the big block. Didn't come out. We got now SegWit as a result. And well, decentralization won that day, which was wonderful. So August 1st, hope you celebrated User Activation Software Day, or Independence Day.
What did you do for to celebrate? Like Bitcoin Pizza Day, you get a pizza.
I didn't do pizza this year.
Jan 3, maybe take your Bitcoin off exchanges. What'd you do for August 1st?
I bought Bitcoin that day. I bought fucking Bitcoin that day.
Did you? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. There was a little bit of a dip, right? Some money landed on my lap. I was very happy for that, and so I bought the dip. I was very happy.
I went out for beers with a couple of guys who listened to the show on Friday to celebrate, but we'll talk more about that in the beginning of the notables section there. I want to talk about my 2-tier healthcare system experience from last week.
Samurai, talk about these guys. I guess
Samurai is interesting because this seemed to have been going. I don't, for lack of a sort of better way to frame this, it seemed to be going our way for a while, and now it's completely flipped. They're going to plead guilty to a precedent-setting. I think a precedent-setting set of restrictions here, a set of circumstances.
Yeah, they're pleading guilty to conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money
transfer. But really, I mean, we with Tornado Cash, it's interesting because there was a sort of a fee structure, so they took a fee, I guess. But the big thing, like here, is you can't control what people do with the software that you create.
Yes.
So you can't be held accountable for the code that you write.
You know what it is?
It's really weird.
It's like a gun maker manufacturing a gun.
That's the obvious one.
And a gun is used in a crime to kill somebody. Is the gun manufacturer responsible for the death of that individual?
John in the chat saying it's not precedent setting because the judge isn't issuing a verdict. I don't know. I'm not a jurisprudence enjoyer.
They're going to be
sentenced. So I don't know.
In November because they pled guilty, and they face a maximum of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine each. This could be pretty significant for them.
In a world where stable coins are pretty clearly being pushed by governments everywhere, and where the clampdown on internet freedom is here and it is moving fast, I think they make an example out of these two guys. I think they'll go for the full 5 plus. They'll go for the full 5 plus the $250,000. I think
they've already time served. They already did it 1 year, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the ramifications of that time that's already passed are, but the overarching theme here is one that we talked about a bunch on this show, on Axis of Easy, during interviews with people who are not even into Bitcoin, honestly. One of censorship and control from the state. And the Leviathan was for sure bleeding in its corner after round 6 or round 7, and they have come out swinging here in a major way. And if you look at what's going on in the UK and what's going on in the States, the stablecoin legislation, Genius Act, all that stuff, it's pretty clear to me that there's an effort here to identify things that are dangerous to the regime and squash them in their crib, basically. And there's a fly circling me here. Squash them in their crib. And why not? The way that people are able to share communications now and rally the troops now and accumulate capital now, thanks to Bitcoin and crypto. I don't blame the state for thinking that this is a good idea. It won't work, I don't think, but it will get ugly, I do believe. And so, this is another example of what you'd expect to see. The samurai guys, Len, this was, this is 4 years old at this point, 3 years old, something like that.
I didn't think it's that old. I think it's
3 years old. I'm pretty sure it's 3 years old. So they've been sitting around thinking about this for 3 years. It's gone through 2 administrations, one outright, anti-privacy, anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin, and one who, at least on the surface, is pro-Bitcoin, pro-privacy, pro-freedom, all these things. And the result seems to be largely the same. The monoparty, uniparty is moving against these guys in a way that I think people should be paying attention to, because it does.
April 2024. That's when they were arrested. So,
but when did this whole thing? There was talk about Tornado Cash in 23. So maybe it's 2 years old, not 3 years old.
Tornado Cash, yeah.
So it's been going for a while, right? And
is it political?
Yeah, I don't think it's political. I think it's just
I'm with you.
The way the state is moving against things that allow for privacy. And I realize I'm kind of mixing Tornado Cash and Samurai and all these things, but I think from a pragmatic point of view, if you look at this through the eyes of your enemy in this case, they view these things as two strands of the same muscle, and you're getting the result that I think you're going to get for a lot of privacy focused stuff, including Bitcoin, by the way. At some point, I think there's going to be a move. I think we've talked about this before, that whether it's this year, next year, a decade from now, the private holding of Bitcoin you will be incentivized away from it, to say the least.
Well, the money transmission thing is huge, because even here in Canada, was it nodeless?
Nodeless? Like Sparrow, does Sparrow need a money transmission license now? Like
that's peer to peer.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. So these are things that you have to start asking. Because remember how we talked about. Sorry to cut you off. Remember how we talked about years ago when we were still I was in a different basement at that time. We talked about how one of the things that the government does is try and establish precedent and set jurisprudence standards on smaller companies. And then they start pecking up the tree. So they pick a small entity like Samurai, like Tornado Cash, whatever, like Sparrow, blah, blah, blah. And they say, look, these guys don't have the guns to fight this. We need to set up a new law where any app that transmits Bitcoin, that signs transactions, whatever, anything that does that has to fall under these rules. And they have to be either disallowed or come under the umbrella of the state.
There's a huge difference between an application or program that signs versus one that you give them your Bitcoin, they have the keys and do whatever, and they send it back to you. When you're talking about something like Sparrow,
I don't think you're technically wrong. I think you're going to be. I'm
100%, because when you're talking about Sparrow,
I know
Sparrow doesn't even have to exist as a I don't know if it's a company.
I think all these wallet apps are going to start coming under scrutiny the longer this goes on, is what I'm saying.
As long as they are simply a program that an end user can compile and run, and it does not.
I'm not disagreeing. It's going to be hard.
Not interact at all with a server.
Yeah.
It's essentially just me, my node, and that's it.
It's going to be hard.
There's nothing. So there's no third party I'm dealing with. I'm dealing everything in the house.
Yeah.
Now the one that, from what I gather, is probably will not be subjected to any sort of issues in the future is join market. When you're doing those join markets,
that is
that is a service, a mixing service that you
Yeah.
have total control over shit like this. So stuff like Samurai and others, they could potentially be money laundering.
I even think Joy Market's going to get looked at.
But you are your own.
It doesn't. I don't think it. I don't think the laws they come up with are gonna. They're not gonna make distinctions. They're not gonna make distinctions.
You know what it is, Joey? That this is becoming very antiquated. Not just the laws, but the ways that they try to fight
this
it.
This is sovereign. This is sovereign. This is the entire. In my opinion, this is the entire. Like, this is what you should take from sovereign individual. That even if the government gets it wrong, they will make your life impossibly difficult before they realize they got it wrong, and they won't realize. Can they make
Bitcoin? Can they ban Bitcoin? Can they stop Bitcoin at this point?
It's going to be really. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. Yeah.
And that's exactly it. The reason why is because it's decentralized.
It's going to be really hard, but it's not. It's not going to be impossible. I am paying very close attention to how this thing in the UK goes, where instead of trying to get you on like the ISP side, they get you on the website side. So they get websites in line. So for example, okay, if you wanted to get the code for Sparrow from GitHub, right? Like suddenly GitHub is asking you for your ID before you download. Like that's a problem. And when you have a bunch of different websites and we'll call them honeypots for lack of a better term again. When you have all these things running and being used and hoarding all the most important information, like it's like GitHub, Reddit, Discord, YouTube, like it's maybe what, like on the top end, is it 500 websites that have 95% of the usable internet on them? Like any government could get 500 websites to comply. And so I want to see what happens in the UK with this age verification thing. If they start getting people to age verify and it works, it's something you got to pay attention to. You must pay attention to it.
The beautiful thing is there are networks that are built out, like something like Nostr, for instance. The Bitcoin network is built. There's stuff out there. They could put whatever roadblocks they want. They could put whatever legislation, regulate, whatever the fuck. The thing is, it's done. The horse is left the barn.
I do not think it's that easy. I know you do, but once they start going for DNS, ask Mark. We'll see what Mark says if he's still in the chat. Once they start going for DNS companies, then what is the plan to get Nostr? Like you can't get Nostr on your. You can't access the URL.
The one I would look at as the shining light here, the beacon on the hill, why shit like this will never come to be, is you look at torrents. I'm sure this has been the scorn of software companies for decades. And to this day, they have not been able to stop this because it's peer-to-peer. And you can't, you could do whatever you can, but in the end, users will find a way around it.
Yeah, they didn't stop it, but like, look how like, it's just like a shell of what it was in like 2005, 6, 7, 8. Now it's a shell.
Is it? I haven't used it in a very long time because I have no
shell
need
of
to
itself.
use
It is a shell of itself. Yeah,
but it still operates.
Yeah,
it's still there.
That's right.
I can still send shit peer to peer. It hasn't stopped, and I'm not sure what's the rationale, like why it's a shell of itself. Maybe I'm an example. Like I used to use Windows, and I used to at the time, allegedly pirate games.
Yeah.
No longer, right? Maybe I'm the, maybe other people are kind of like me. I just don't do that anymore.
I want to get someone on to talk about what's going on in the UK. Maybe Freddie New, who I haven't seen post any workout videos in a while. I should get on him and see if we can talk about that, because I think he's a guy who would know, and he's a UK guy and a lawyer. And Preston Byrne, obviously, would be another good one. I think he's suing Ofcom. His firm is suing Ofcom. He's obviously been on the show before, a friend of the program. So I want to get the word out about this because I think Canada is in line for something very similar. We talked about this on Access BC a bunch and on this show too.
The beautiful thing, for a period of time, it was very easy to get KYC Bitcoin. Very easy. And that door shut with Bull Bitcoin. Last year, June of last year. So I hope people were able to accumulate a great deal during that period of time. And still to this time, you could still buy Bitcoin, thousands of dollars without any problems whatsoever.
Mhm.
Everybody I talk to, you could put 4 figures, and that's not bad. You could do this repeatedly. So the opportunity to stack is still there. Do it. Right? Before that disappears, do it, because once it closes, once it becomes harder to do that, you're left with alternatives like a BISC or a RoboSats or the shit like that. And so you'll still be able to do it, but it won't be as simple it is now. It's easy it is now. So I just, it's another Jimmy thing. Learn from this shit.
Learn
what's going on around.
Learn, Jimmy.
And fucking don't be a Jimmy and don't be a no coiner and stack sats. And
Do you want to rip one more story?
no, I say because we have so much fucking
Notable
rest of the news,
notable
notables.
story.
We have a lot to talk about.
Okay, let's get out of here then. Thanks for tuning in.
One to peer-to-peer, but that's in Europe only.
There's some good comments in the chat about how to fix this and attack it. So go check that out if you haven't looked on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. If you're on audio, if you're on video, stay here. We're not going anywhere. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
Don't be a cock.